And we are live. Welcome everyone to an impromptu post-race sprint. Not race, sprint. Chinwag from the 2023 Qatar Grand Prix sprint race. There's two big reasons. One of them's in the thumbnail you're seeing right now on screen if you're watching on YouTube, of course. Let's roll intro. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining me. Not normal billing. Okay, we're going to get 3 live streams this weekend. What's going on? It's crazy. Look, I wasn't feeling up to it earlier, and then I had dinner, and now I'm feeling a little bit energy. We had nice Indian, right? Love it. And now we're talking. Hello, Amy, Stefan, Rex, Andy, Max, Iconics, David, yes sir, Louisma, Vincent, Jim, Evan, Game of Ender, Priest, Bob Brown, Mr. Aldo, Alvaro, Chef, Rufus, Charmander, Dominic, Seamus, Adawitya, Lolo, Sense, Yong, Jerome, Max, Minifos, Lalo, Heather, Leon, Jerome, Geordie, Vatsai, Liam, Lachlan, Nathan, Ryan, Timmer, John. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to everyone who's listening after the fact and watching after the fact on YouTube. We got to talk about it, haven't we? We got to talk about it. Again, audio-only platforms, this will be going up. I will upload this to Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you want to listen. Right, we're just going to talk about the sprint today because it was one hell of a sprint race, was it not? Let's straight away get rating out of 10 for the sprint, please. Let me know some numbers in the live chat for everyone, all 255 of you wonderful people who are here live on it's 10:01 p.m. in the UK. So maybe I'm touching a time zone that I don't typically get, as well, which is nice. So I like doing these. So what we're saying, 9, 5, 7, 8, 8, 8, 7, 9, 8, 8, 9, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Right, we've got a good range. Couple of 10s. I'm sure you're definitely not Piastri fans. Big up my Australians. Ooh, this should be a good time for you Australians, actually. I'm not usually catering for my Aussie brethren, but there we go. Right. Sprint rating, can't type, out of 10. So, I mean, we're going to go either a 10, a 9, a 8, or a 7 or lower. Sprint race rating out of 10. New winner. First time in Formula 1. Got there before Lando as well. Oscar Piastri. Your mum had to move her Pilates class if you don't follow Nicole Piastri on Twitter. What you doing? And witnessed take the dub. I was concerned. I know he was concerned. I know Lando was concerned at the start when the soft tyre runners seemed to. But in the end, it worked. If we had more than 5 steps, and that's a good point, Evan. Right? That's a good point because yes, the safety cars did take away a lot of the laps from what is meant to be an exceptionally short race anyway. A couple of safety cars with, 3 safety cars. I completely forget. Lawson, Sargent, and then the trifecta that came, that delivered. Yeah, I mean, look. Listen, all right. Safety car deserves respect, all right? Put respect on safety car's name. Led more laps than any... Who led more laps this race? Safety car or Oscar Piastri? Because, of course, George did challenge. I don't actually know the trifecta of mediocrity. We'll get onto that, Vale. Yeah, SC easy. Yeah, I mean, driver of the day. There's only one man who should be driver of the day, really. It's a bit of a shame his name didn't come up in the... Well, actually, did they do driver of the day for the sprint? Did they do that? I don't remember seeing it on screen. But I'm actually not sure. Okay, they don't, yeah. I don't see why they... I mean, why not? Big up Burnt Mylander. All right. That's my goat. Okay, what we saying? In the poll, 13% of you have given this a 7 or lower, 39% an 8, 35% a 9, and 13% of you, which is not an insignificant number, have given this a 10 out of 10 for a sprint. I mean, look, the sprints typically, the sprints are okay. I mean, they divide opinion. I think it massively depends. As much as, honestly, like, I think the variety of quality we get from sprints is no different to the variety of quality we get from normal kind of Sunday races, to be honest, for me. But anyway, that's what you've said. I've given it an 8. So 8 out of 10. It's a shame we didn't get as many laps as I would have liked. But what I will say is that the safety cars did help give the soft runners at least a chance of hanging on. Because if there were no safety cars, everyone who put the softs on would have almost certainly have had to probably pit or just wait for the tyre to explode and just crawl around. Like, yeah, it was... without those safety cars, the soft runners would have been up a certain creek without a paddle, let's just say. What would have made it a 10 out of 10? I mean, what would have made this a 10 out of 10 would have been more laps, like more laps of running, and then a wheel-to-wheel scrap for the win. A wheel to. I mean, Piastri did fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I'm just talking from an entertainment point of view. Okay, it's very, very impressive what Oscar Piastri just did this evening. But just from an entertainment point of view, I think a wheel-to-wheel scrap for that. But again, with a sprint, I mean, what I will say actually, I think we've seen enough from these sprints to suggest that it doesn't matter if it's just a sprint. The drivers are going to push. I mean, some of the scraps we saw through the field, how close drivers were getting, where we're talking, I don't know, like Norris, Alonso, Leclerc was getting very ballsy at times. And obviously when Lando was coming through, that was incredibly tight. Like, we're not seeing drivers approach these sprint weekends in terms of the actual racing any differently to the races. Not in my opinion, anyway. Not at all. Not at all. But there you go. 8 out of 10. Race rating, that's mine. And 38% of you agree. 35% of you gave it a 9. And Ocon. We'll get on to Ocon. Hang on. Let's pause the Ocon slander for a bit, yeah? All right? You know I love Ocon, right? But also, come on. Let's pause the slander briefly. Thank you very much, Leslie, for the $5.99. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Tommo, what's your opinion on Max's World Drivers' Championship helmet? I tweeted it to you. Leslie, I've seen it. If you've not seen it already, actually, you know what? Leslie tweeted it to me. So, to be fair, I did retweet it. So, oh my God, what the hell was Alex just... What the... Hang on a second. Alex has just... Alex has just posted the most disgusting thing on Twitter I've ever seen in my life. Okay, I mean, that's a bit extra. Ugh. What the hell? Look, Alex, you're my favourite driver, bruv, but like, hang on a second. Let me get screen share up and show you what this absolute, like, Alex, you're my guy, but you can't be posting this on Twitter. What the what the hell is this? What am I looking at, man? That's disgusting. Currently eating dinner and it looks like a 7. Keep that off Twitter, bruv. Keep that off Twitter. Medium rare, mate. That does not look medium rare. That looks way closer to absolutely roasted. Ugh, yeah, I'm gonna take that off the screen because that's quite revolting. I'll be honest, Alex, not your best piece of content. Sorry, back to Leslie's super chat with Max's helmet. I did actually give it a little. I gave it a little. Right, back to screen share. Something a bit nicer. Right, a little clip of Max posing with his helmet, giving me kind of rich energy vibes. Okay, I think that's fair to say. But I'm guessing he's going to be repping this tomorrow. That's kind of quite a nice way to embrace the winning the championship on a Saturday, because then on Sunday he can run this. So that's kind of cool, actually. That's kind of a quite nice way to do it. These, you know what these caps look like, actually, right? So actually today, shout out George if you're watching. I was up old Bista. If you know where Bista is, it's like a fancy shopping discount place. And when I saw this merch, again, apologies to audio only listeners. Sometimes these are quite visual. When I saw this, it made me think of this. It made me think of this. This is the same. This Barber International, right? Other brands are available, and this on the caps. It's the same. It's exactly the same. Bicep. No, I know how to pronounce that one, Sandra. I've worked that out. But there you go. That's what that made me think of anyway. Bit of Barber. But yeah, Alex. I wish Alex. That was a Freudian slip, wasn't it? Max wins the championship, gets the new merch, gets the new lid for tomorrow. It's nice. I quite like it. It's all right. Look, Sabu, I'm just calling it as I see it, man. The black and gold has been tainted by the beard. It's been tainted. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules, okay? But yeah, thank you, Leslie, for the $5.99. Appreciate it. And thank you, Caligar, as well, for the 50 DKK. I'm biking home and having some drinks and watching the sprint and want to hear your opinion about what's your biggest surprise of the sprint. Biggest surprise of the sprint is that Logan Sargent... No. Is that Sergio Perez... No. Is that Esteban Ocon had a... No. Is that Max didn't win the race? No, I mean, obviously McLaren's pace was good, and I think obviously Max getting a poor start did certainly inhibit his ability to win this race. Max didn't win that. I mean, that's the biggest surprise. It has to be the biggest surprise. At one stage, Albon was 17th, and he got to 7th. Just saying. Driver of the day territory, come on. I mean, look, come on, obviously I've not given it to him. I'm not surprised by Alex with 2 points. Come on, that's just look, I'm sorry. Oh, I think another surprise was Stroll getting a penalty. No, that wasn't a surprise, was it at all? Stroll finishing last of the actual cars to finish was definitely, yeah. Anyway, shall we? Race result. Oscar Piastri wins ahead of Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Lando's going to be kicking himself, man. Opportunity. Still got to P3 in the end. Willow Creative, track limits. That's not a surprise, is it? Come on now. Russell Hamilton, P4, 5. Good, all right recovery in the end, especially for Lewis. Being on the optimal tyre was Lewis, and the suboptimal tyre for gorgeous George. You wanted to pit on the softs. Bruv, if you pitted on the softs, you'd come out behind Stroll. Nah, Stroll still got the penalty. So, yeah, good thing the team didn't just said to George, we're staying out, bruv. Right, go off. Now calm down. Yeah, Stroll also had 5 seconds for track limit. So, yeah. Carlos Sainz P6. Alex Albon P7. Come on. 4 thousandths of a second he was pipped at the line by Charles. I've not seen any images of that, but 4 thousandths of a second that's how much Yuki missed out on Q3 by on Friday. 4 thousandths of a second. Knowledge. And then the final point of the sprint goes to Fernando Alonso. Somehow dragging that awful Martin. It's not awful, it's just relative, isn't it? Gasly, Bottas 9-10, Tsunoda, Leclerc 11-12, Magnussen, Joe 13-14, Stroll 15, and then Hülkenberg, Ocon, Perez all out, all together. Sargent out, Lawson out. Oofed. Seamus, thank you for the £2. Do you think this looks at all bad on Lando? No, No, I don't. Look, Lando's, he made a mistake in qualifying on Friday. Ran wide, cocked it up. Made a bit of an error earlier today in the sprint shootout as well. And then bad start. It's been a bit sloppy from Lando. He's not capitalised on this opportunity. But his pace was good. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Hello, wife. Wife in chat. Shout out, wife. Yeah, look, Lando set such a high standard this year. You're always going to have odd weekends, when you're not delivering. I mean, Max had his lap deleted, remember? Like, that kind of potentially opened the door. It put a bit more pressure on Max's last lap. They make mistakes. And a lot of people getting pulled up in Qatar. But we'll get on to the track limits for Raw. So let's have a look at the championship standards, which are incorrect on the official F1 website because they have not accounted for Charles Leclerc's 5-second penalty. They've still got Alex 8th. What are you doing, F1, bruv? This is your game. Yet my graphics are ahead. And I think, look, Oscar getting the win. The thing is, it's a sprint win. I think if Oscar had got a main race win before Lando, I think that would hurt a bit more. It's a sprint win, so it's not going to have that same... Like Oscar said it himself, like Oscar getting pole position after... In the sprint shootout, Oscar was just like, yeah, it's cool. Like, it's not really a proper race pole, but that guy is never been mad, ever, in his life. He's never been angry. Ever. One day, he's just building it all up. He's just storing it in. He's angry. One day, Oscar Piastri is just going to go Hulk. Full Hulk in the paddock. But anyway, I digress. Right. Race results in these driver standings after the Qatar sprint. Max Verstappen wins the championship. He wasn't angry, Hawkeye. He was being sassy. And that's what you do. When you're not an angry person, you make up for it with sass. And he's got that in abundance. 407 points, Max Verstappen wins the 2023 championship, F1 World Championship. We all knew it's coming. It's a matter of time. The inevitability of Max Verstappen in 2023. Big. Checo, Znilpois, still on 2-2-3. Hamilton closes the gap by 4 points. So he is now only 29 points behind Checo Perez. Not insurmountable. The rate of howlers that are coming out of Checo's side of the garage, the rate of howlers, Lewis has got it done. It's done. I've seen, obviously you hear the nonsense, like a lot of nonsense, like rumour mill, right? But I've seen a rumour knocking about that which wouldn't surprise me if there is something like this written in Checo's contracts. Because obviously contracts, sports people's contracts can be very complicated and, intricate things. Would it surprise me if there is some kind of, if you don't finish second, right? Or if you don't finish at least one position behind Max, I don't know. Something along those lines. Because Checo signed the contract after Monaco last year, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, that's when he kind of leaked it, didn't he? So some kind of clause. Would it surprise me if there was a clause in some kind if you finished or maybe it'd be like a point percentage behind Verstappen. I don't know. Was it before? Yeah, sorry, before Monaco. You're right. It wouldn't surprise me. So, I mean, I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see if Lewis did finish above Perez, whether anything might happen. Because, just things are just terrible at the minute. In terms of points movers, Norris moves one ahead of Russell. Piastri only gets 8 points from the win at the end of the day, so he's comfortably clear of Stroll now, but kind of on his own is Oscar. Albon gets 2 points, not one. F1, right? Two points, so he's 23 now. Alex continues to carry. And yeah, thank you, Gladiator, for the $2 Aussie. A win's a win. Don't devalue because Oscar got it first. Well, no, watch Oscar's press conference after he got pole in the sprint shootout. He's like, yeah, it was just a sprint pole. So, he devalued it. He's the one, he's doing it himself. He's like, yeah, whatever. It's just the sprint. Oh yeah, I got the win in the sprint. Yeah, okay, it's a sprint. Cool. Bless him. That's the mindset though. That's the mentality, man. Oscar's a mentality monster. I swear, he really is. Other than that, no interesting changes there though. Driver standings wise, constructor standings. Yeah, it's all pretty much the same. Not much of interest. Cool, right, so. Bangers and clangers. I have not asked you because I didn't ask. I didn't put the poll out because I just was like, I'm just going to do this stream. I only gave myself like half an hour notice to get all the graphics done. So now we're talking. So I've not asked for your opinions, but these are mine, right? Bangers and clangers. No, I didn't forget. I was just like, I'm gonna do a stream. I'm gonna do a stream. I want to talk about this sprint in isolation because it was a really good sprint. It was a 8 out of 10 sprint, to be precise. But bangers and clangers, no big shocks here. It's Piastri, Sargent, McLaren, AlphaTauri. No, maybe AlphaTauri is a clanger, might be a bit out there, but considering the expectations going into this weekend for AlphaTauri, how their pace was looking, for Yuki to be 11th, for Lawson to be, to go off all by himself as well. Bit of a clanger. But yeah, banger drive, Oscar Piastri, shock. Clanger drive, Logan Sargent, I've given. He qualified last and spun on his own. At least Lawson got to Q2. Banger team McLaren, obviously. And then clanger team AlphaTauri. I've already explained why. There's not much more to say there. A few of you saying knock on clanger. Like, he has... Right. I want to find a print screen, right? We're going to talk about this, okay? Because everyone who's turned a wheel, right, in this sport, Nico Rosberg, right? Nico Rosberg's an interesting character, okay? I can't say someone I want to go for a drink with, but I like him as a, what's the word? Commentator, whatever. Analyst, I guess. And even it's 3-1. Like, you get these. You got that Singapore when he had Raikkonen, Vettel, and Verstappen. Like, 3-1. Like, the person on the people on the far side can't see the other person on the far side, so it's just unlucky. Pundit, yeah, correspondent, whatever. Brittany. Oh, do you remember when he got annoyed that kid called him Brittany? I'm like, bruv, stop taking yourself so seriously. Like, she's a kid. She called you Brittany because it's funny. Like, after he reacted like that, my opinion of Nico Rosberg has dropped. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, bruv, that's having a bit of fun, mate. Chill out. Anyway, let me try and find a freeze. Actually, I can probably take it from the highlights. So, yeah, give me a sec. So obviously we had the incident. We had the incident between Ocon, Hulkenberg, and Perez. You're about to get some desktop audio, which I do not want. So you're going to go on mute. Is that on mute? There we go. Right, let's get this print screen up of the little incident. And I want to try and get a good angle. So that's Checo on board. I don't think there's going to be a good angle in this replay of the... Come on, give me a good angle, F1. Come on. Okay. That'll do. I've got a good enough angle. Okay. Actually, what I'm just going to do... It might just be easier for me. I can just screen share this. Right, there we go. That'll do. So let's get this nicely cropped so we can all look, okay? We can all look. And F1, FOM, stay away. Don't kill me, all right? It's just an image, all right? Chill out. There we go. Skip some pink background on brand. Right, so we have. So it's actually Hulkenberg. This is Lewis has got the perfect view of this, hasn't he? Through goes Hamilton. In the replay, when Lewis just drives through, they should have done the through goes Hamilton. Oh, right, okay. So, can I like... This is all I need to illustrate the point. So obviously, yeah, Hulkenberg's attacking Ocon, and then Perez is attacking Hulkenberg from kind of behind. But also he's like kind of being opportunistic here. So Checo had kind of done a bit of a cutback. Obviously Ocon's gone wide, trying to defend on his old soft tyres. Hulkenberg's got the fresh mediums, and it's basically this. And then just Ocon obviously bleeds over to his right. Trying to kind of open the corner up for him. Doesn't know Checo's there because you just don't have that kind of visibility in an F1 car. He knows Hulkenberg's there, but he's obviously just moving over because he knows Hulkenberg's going to move over as well. But he doesn't know that Perez is there. So this is, if this was Leclerc, not Ocon, you would blame him 100%. Jojo, just stop. Whenever there's one of these three wide, you can't blame the driver on the outside. You can't blame the driver on the inside, But, and this Naomi Schiff dropped this point post race, whatever, which is a good point, right? Now, Perez is the one who's right at the back, yeah? So he's the furthest back here. He's the one who cut back to try and, carry the momentum, right? It's a risky move because Checo can see Hulk there. I mean, by this point, he's starting to lose, but Ocon's got to be somewhere. It is very risky for Checo to go for this move because he knows that he should know there's a good chance that if he puts his car there, well, he knows Hulkenberg's next to him and he must think, well, who's going to, where's Ocon? He's probably next to Hulkenberg. So, here we go, a few. So this is it, carrying on still, right? So Ocon's only just on the track actually, but he does look like he's got wheels on the track. And then they're still going. FOM, leave me alone. These are just stills, okay, for the purpose of analysis. Okay, this is transformative content. I'm not XQC, all right. Right. So let's see. Look, see now they're all side by side. So Perez can't see Ocon. Ocon can't see Perez. Hulkenberg could obviously see both of them. And he's like, oh, God. What's happening here then, lads? And then obviously Ocon, it's still quite far to the... Hulkenberg doesn't want to move over, but obviously Ocon wants to open the corner up. And then eventually... I know, again, look, they're almost exactly in line. Ocon's a little bit ahead here. And then Hulkenberg's like, oh, God. Oh, God. Get me out of here now. And then bonk. So it's actually, it's contact with Ocon that is the initial, because again, obviously Ocon's the one who's trying to open the corner up, and again, look where Perez is relative to Ocon. And then that's the damage, and then Ocon, yeah. And then the rest is history. So yeah, I mean, don't tell me you're... No, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying this, there's not much you can do here. What I am saying is that when Checo put his car here, right, knowing, let me go back here. Right, Checo went knowing that Ocon's on the outside of Hulkenberg. He's the one who was behind. He's got full visibility before he then goes for the move. So it's a risky one. It's a risky one. But this is a racing incident as much as it. This is as much of a racing incident as there possibly can be. Possibly. He does not swipe Hulk. So it's fascinating. Some of your perspective. Look, everyone's in touch, but some of your perspectives are fascinating. Absolutely. And I love it. Wherever I blame Checo, I've said it was risky for him to go for it. It's not his fault, But it was still risky for him to go for it. Ocon haters gonna hate, exactly. You can't like don't trust me because I've never sat in an F1 car. Trust Nico Rosberg, all right? He knows how little visibility, and he was racing in the. Remember, Nico never even raced with the halo. Thank you, Eric, for the F1. This is a payoff to incentivize you to make Squarespace Tommo F1 team livery team /fit. Oh, Eric. One day. But something's cooking for that, Eric. Don't you worry. But I'm not just going to do... it's going to be a special video. It's going to be much more involved than the typical. But there you go. Racing incident. Through goes Hamilton. Lovely jubbly. All right. Easy. All in agreement there. But yeah, Sargent binned it on his own. Not good. Oh, Logan. Let's go through team by team now, shall we? Let's go through team by team. Starting with Red Bull. Starting with the plaudits. I mean, it was a done deal before anyway. Max Verstappen wins his third world title in a row. And at a canter as well. By far and away his most convincing of the victories of the three so far. But yeah, man. That puts him up there with many other, Jackie Stewart. PK's got 3. Remember who else has got 3. But yeah. And thoroughly deserved. Like, unreal. Max. Fangio. Senna. Big names. And obviously Senna probably would have got more. It's taken far too soon. Brabham. Yeah, man. Names. Not Vettel. Names. Oh, it's funny. What was it? Horner was talking afterwards. I mean, Horner. I think Horner rates Verstappen above Vettel for sure. The way he talks about, maybe it's just because Max is in the car at the minute, but the way he talks about how Max has won these titles as being, this is something he's never experienced before. I'm like, bro, I see how many points Vettel won by in 2011 and 2013. But there you go. Fangio's 5-time. Yeah, I thought it was 5-time. People were saying Fangio. I don't know why I trust you lot with untrustable. I mean, Vettel was the golden child at the time, but yeah, it's all relative. At the end of the day, man, like it's super impressive. It's interesting how, like, towards the end of this year now that other teams are starting to catch, but then you've got to imagine that's because Red Bull have already long offset resource to focus on next year's car. So, yes, it's going to be an uphill battle to catch Red Bull with a Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, of course. Oh, I did feel... Who was it who asked Max in the post-race? I can't remember her name. Rachel Brooks. She was like speaking to Checo after, and she was like, "Oh, how do you like? What do you learn from this year so that you can take the fight to Max next year?" And I was like, "Oh, no, we're not gonna have this again, are we? Start of next year. Oh, let's see. Will Checo?" Look, I drank the Kool-Aid. All right, I was like, "Yeah, Checo's right. 4 races in, almost level 1 points. Come on, Checo, you got this." It's just not gonna happen, is it? It's not gonna happen. It's gonna take someone else from another team, and that is gonna take a different car from another team. So, but yeah, look, I said it in my last video. Say it again. If Max keeps winning, if he wins in 24, 25, 26, new generation, I don't mind, as long as either Alex maybe wins 1 race. Take that. As long as it's not dominant. I want competition. I'm here for competition. I want it to be interesting. I want it to be exciting. Again, what makes F1 exciting is wall-to-wall racing. Being so good that you can just hot lap and be 20 seconds clear most races. It's not exciting. Doesn't matter who's at the wheel. Doesn't matter who is at the wheel. Tommo, I need to sleep. Well, you can sleep. You can catch up on this. It's going on YouTube as a VOD, so you can catch up on this later. Get some kip, FZ. Get some kip and then come back. But yeah, Max has done it. Credit, man. We are witnessing greatness, and there is no shred. You can be the biggest Max Verstappen hater. It's funny how often when I meet people there's a lot of people who don't like Max Verstappen in the UK. Shock. People are like, oh, it's just boring and Max is winning all the time. I'm like, well, was it boring when, I don't know. But it's different. It's different with different sports. You know? Domination isn't always boring in sport, but it kind of is. Kind of is in F1. Yeah, but it is. Put it very well, Seamus. He's scary good. He's scary good. And he's still only 26. Still only 26. Yeah, it's very boring. Shumi time, boring in the, when Vettel was dominating as well. Vettel only dominated 2 of those 4 seasons he won. And the 2 seasons he didn't dominate, 2010 and 2012, were 2 all-timers in terms of exciting season. 2 all-timers for sure. So, not last year, though. He only dominated it in the second half of the season. But yeah, credit to Red Bull, credit to Max. What more can I say? Levels. Williams, yeah, obviously a chuff for Alex, man. No, he was just out of nowhere. I was like, how's he like 11th? All of a sudden he was like 11th, which obviously, yeah, the DNFs in front of him were the reason for that. I was just like, hang on, he's 11th. When did that happen? And then, oh yeah, because Max was asked about Le Mans, wasn't he? And he was like, I will race in Le Mans. It's not if, it's when, which is cool. Maybe in the Valkyrie. We'll see. And yeah, so great drive from Alex. Almost got Leclerc at the end. Did get Leclerc with the post-race points. Penalty for track limits. Because Alex was so good, he scared Leclerc off the road. Shook. He was shook, was Charles. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't hang with a big man. Couldn't hang with Walbon. Right? As for Logan, this guy, Logan, man, we can't keep doing this. This needs to stop. Like, qualifying pace was like, all right, not so good in the sprint shootout. Yesterday's qualifying, it was all right. It was good. He was like close to Alex. Like he can deliver pace, but then he just makes these mistakes, and it's frustrating. And I get it must be frustrating because when you really look closer at the numbers, and I think I'm going to do a video really looking into like his race pace relative to Alex and his qualifying actual like deltas on average, taking away the kind of extremes when you do was it mean instead of, I don't know, I can't remember. He's like, he has pace in him to be like almost as close. Like he has pace in him to be as close to Alex as Oscar is to Norris. He has demonstrated that pace on numerous occasions in sessions and in races when he's back in the points and whatever. Like Williams, they're holding on to something. He's not worse than Latifi ever was. I promise you, he's not. But these mistakes are so egregious now. These are... He's gone beyond Mick Schumacher levels of mistakes. All right, in that first Haas season. And Mazepin. Probably joint. Like, you just... It's mad. It's mad. Medium. There you go. Medium. Yeah, it's not good enough, right? You can show potential. You're like, potential is a dangerous word, and he's not delivering it. And it's, yeah. No, Mick was way better than this, but Mick had a lot of shunts in that Haas. A lot of shunts. And Logan's had more. So, there you go. Right, Bosch, not much more to say. AlphaTauri, disappointing, man. Was he expecting good pace from these lot? Was he expecting good pace? And Sonoda, not great qualifying. Moves, he was on the right tyre, was Yuki, but couldn't do much, and Lawson just binned it on his own. Yuki was on mediums. Yeah, just Lawson, it's a difficult track, tricky conditions, and he made a mistake, which is it's the most egregious mistake we've seen Lawson make since he's jumped in that car. Ted said Lawson was tapped. It didn't look like he was tapped, but Yuki blaming the team for track limits. I do briefly remember seeing Yuki go off, but I didn't actually know what he was going off about. So, yeah, it's going to happen, Lawson. It's a shame, but at least he gets another shot at it tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, overall, I was expecting a bit more from AlphaTauri. I was expecting a little bit more from AlphaTauri. Gotta say. Alfa Romeo continued to be pretty awful. Bottas got to Q3, didn't he? But he didn't really make any inroads in the race. He blamed it on the traffic. Yeah, racing drivers, they blame anything, man. That's what they do. Actually, there's a few who take responsibility, but I would say most don't. Joe just at the back. Bottas just... Oh, did Bottas get an SQ2? It's these sprint weekends, man. The qualifying just messes with me. Yeah, it's just Alfa Romeo. There you go. They weren't Alfa Romeo. They were Alfa Romeo. There you go. And there's the two slander names. When they're 18th and 19th tomorrow, then we can call them Alfa Romeo again. But Alfa Romeo for now. Haas. Oh, man. We've obviously analysed the crash, right? Which was a racing incident. And I'm not blaming anyone, by the way. Honestly. I'm gutted for Hulk, though. I'm gutted for Haas, because this was a big opportunity for them. Like, Hulk was on the right tyre. Yeah, he had Checo behind him, who, almost certainly would have overtaken him. But, potentially at least a couple points on the board for Nico. And because obviously then there's no safety car if they don't have the crash. He gets past Ocon almost certainly eventually. Yes, Hamilton's behind him. Maybe Hamilton gets past him. But again, there's not the tyre offset. And there's maybe a couple of points for Nico Hülkenberg and Haas, which again, from a constructor's point of view, if we want to quickly reflect on the old constructors, they are just 2 points ahead of Alfa Romeo or Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo. Just 2 points, which that could have doubled that gap potentially. But I've seen people blame Hulk for the crash. It's mad. It's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. It's a wild west, the internet, man. Like it's crazy. But yeah, gutted for him because we said this before. These sprints are Haas's best opportunity because they've got no race pace. So if they can get to a sprint, bank a good quali, which Hülkenberg did a sick job in quali, bank a good start, and then one set of tyres to the end, and just try and hold on. And especially a race like this where we had a lot of soft runners, which clearly wasn't the right tyre as well. So even more opportunity to finish ahead of cars that should be quicker than the Haas. Fortunately for Haas, there are a couple more sprints to go, isn't there? Can't even remember how many. 2 or 3 in it. But this was a chance, and it kind of it's just unlucky, isn't it? It's just unlucky. Just very unlucky. You could see Hulk was very disappointed afterwards, and understandably, because is it 2 more? Cool. Yeah, we'll see. Alpine. Again, Ocon it was on the wrong tyre. He was involved in the incident. It happens. Gasly just out the points. Ugh. Not much more to say on Alpine that we haven't already said. Uncanny Valley, innit? They're kind of stuck in it, as they often are. Oh, Alpine, sorry. Alpid. It doesn't really work, does it? Doesn't really work. Ferrari, again, they were both on the wrong tyre. It was exciting at the start, though. Science following Russell up the inside. Leclerc was there, hurrying. Like it It's good energy at the start of this race, in part thanks to Ferrari, but they were on the wrong tyre. So, yeah. And then Leclerc was so terrified of the prospect of Alex Albon, the great Alex Albon, coming, and he was scared off the track, and he got 5-second penalty. So that's the Albon effect, people. All right, it's very real. It's very real. Exceptionally real. Aston Martin. We haven't talked about Stroll yet, have we? Briefly on Alonso. Yeah, it's all right. There's not much more he could have done. That car doesn't have... I think I'm going to sneeze. Let me run an ad while I think I'm going to sneeze. Oh, God. Oh, I wish it would just come out. That's really annoying. I wish the sneeze would just leave. No, it's not. Okay. I've got 1,130 people watch me almost but not sneeze. Damn. This is the quality content you signed up for. It's made my eyes water. The not sneeze has made my eyes water. But there you go. You got an ad, so I got paid for not sneezing. Oh, what a funny life I live, eh? Talking on the internet about Formula One. Man. Yeah, Alonso. Yeah. It is what it is. Lance Stroll. So, to anyone who didn't, and I didn't watch it, I didn't watch Quali live yesterday. I caught up on it afterwards and obviously saw what happened. So, Stroll went out in Q1, which isn't... I saw Tommy post my old mate Bellingham, Mr. Bellingham. He posted, what did he say? I'm sure he tweeted like that was his joint best quali for like a few races or something, like P17. So I can't find it. There was something along those lines. So it wasn't like, obviously he went out in Q1. So best since Zandvoort. There you go. Best quali since Zandvoort. And this guy. So first of all, he throws the wheel out of the car. Which, look, I mean, drivers do that when they're frustrated. Like, yeah, it's petulant, it's expensive, so it's a bit childish. Like, throw your wheel out of the car. But we've seen drivers do that. Like, you lob it out of the car, like, you're frustrated, whatever, right? It's a bit petulant. Do you? And then the camera only just catches it as well. So the problem is, if that camera had cut away a second earlier, no one would have seen it. Maybe it would have come out behind the scenes, but like honestly, stuff like this, I'm sure happens way more than we, in terms of just drivers getting frustrated and taking it out on the people around them, whether that's shoving them, whether that's shouting at them, whether it's blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Stroll got out of the car, fuming, and then his trainer's with him, and he walks around the corner. You can see him like, he looks like he's kind of shoved his trainer. And then he does the post-race interview afterwards where he's giving very like one-word answers, and he's just not got time for it. Well, look, obviously, again, petulant, like putting your hands on someone when you're like frustrated is not like, is your trainer, is your boy, is there to help you out, and you're like putting your hands on him because you're like annoyed because you're just getting found out. Like, come on, it's petulant, it's silly, it's not right. The thing is, what I will say is that, I'm sure his trainer, these lot are very tight knit, especially with their trainers as well. They spend so much time with their trainers, these drivers. So, I would like to think, and again, there's so much online where it's like, you just assume the worst in people and you want to like benefit of doubt gets thrown out the window. I would like to think, right, say this was a random Aston Martin member of staff and doesn't really know who they are, right? I would like to think he wouldn't shove them, but because it's his trainer, his mate, he's like, he almost feels comfortable enough to do it. Now, I'm not saying that's right at all, right? Of course, but like, I think there's a degree of difference there that I want to at least not just jump on and just dogpile on the guy because he's frustrated. Clearly, you know, he doesn't seem in a particularly good headspace, and from a human point of view, like, you know, whenever we're talking about these drivers, right? This is what's difficult with F1 because these are sports people, right? They put themselves out there, and we are judging them on their actions behind the wheel, right? And we're also judging them, and this is why, you know, I always think it's harsh the level we expect of these drivers, where it's like when they're saying stuff on the radio, like they're like 200 beats per minute, like full adrenaline, like it's a dangerous sport. And I think that, like, I don't want to just blindly just attack the guy, but what he did was bang out of order. And he needs to have a good word with himself and like really, because like as soon as you start doing stuff like that, it's just like, man, it's just like he's lost control of his emotions there, and it's not right. I'm saying like a lot. That's what I do when I'm in full waffle stream. Yeah, but you can't be putting hands on team personnel when you're struggling to deal with your own sporting stuff. Again, this is sport, all right? It's not life or death, right? It's entertainment, okay? It's a privilege to be in that position. It's a special privilege to be in his position, right? The only driver who literally has a blood guarantee to their seat, okay? It's not going anywhere. And yeah, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for Lance, man. It really is, and he needs to. You know, he had a bad race today, bad sprint, bad quali as well. Bad sprint quali, went out in Q1. People arguing Lawrence is good. The thing is, like, people don't realise that Lawrence owns Aston Martin, like Lagonda, like the car brand. So he also owns Aston Martin F1 team. So he owns these two different things. So then he bought Racing Point. He bought Force India, rebranded it to Racing Point, then bought Aston Martin and was like, well, okay, and now I'm going to put the Aston Martin badge on Racing Point. Like, they are two mutually, like, even if his son's not in a seat, him keeping Aston Martin as a marketing exercise in Formula One is still very, is still very valuable. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's bad, and it's a reflection of a driver who's frustrated, and we know doesn't like he's not earning his stripes at the minute. I think Alonso and the golf and the stuff Alonso was doing earlier in the year. Because Lance, again, if you've seen my video, if they had two Lance Strolls, right, at Aston Martin, the start of the year wasn't too bad. Like, Saudi was all right, Bahrain was all right with the dodgy hand, right? It started okay. And Lance wasn't a million miles off Fernando. And Fernando was getting the podiums and Lance wasn't, but he wasn't a million miles off. And then, like, it's just got worse. And I think seeing how big that gap is, like, he was pretty close to Vettel last year. I think Stroll's just is in his own head and he's driving at a lower level than he was last year. I think Alonso's quicker than Vettel, but I also think Stroll was slower this year than Stroll was last year against Vettel, because I think he had more confidence last year. This year, his just confidence is completely shot. Absolutely shot. He was close, bro. He was. If you look at the average qualifying gap between Vettel and Stroll last year, actually, let me find it. 2022 average qualifying gaps, Formula One. Let's find some data. Average margin. Wait, that's the what? Oh, there we go. Yeah, average margin. So Vettel, and this is from the race, so don't blame me if you don't like these numbers. So they're saying qualifying gap. So it was 7-6 to Vettel. I think they've just looked at like relevant sessions, and the average gap was advantage Vettel by 0.129 seconds. That's pretty close. I mean, it just is. That just is pretty close. But anyway, whatever. This ain't about that. This is about Stroll. Pull your finger out, fella. It's not good enough. Not good enough. Stroll had a higher best qualifying position. Yeah, well, I don't think that means too much, to be honest, Hamza. But cool. Right, Aston Martin's done. Not much more to say on them. Mercedes. Russell was on the wrong tyre. Good thing the team didn't listen to him because he was wrong. He was very wrong. They were right to stay out on the softs. You saw obviously on the restart, the soft was the right tyre to be on, but then the graining just then took over. Yeah, I mean, Russell did all right to hold on. Good recovery from Lewis. Not great from him qualifying wise, but it happens. It happens. It happened to him. He was the one to lose out in the sprint shootout. And yeah, it was all right for Mercedes. It was okay. I think they're quite confident about their race pace tomorrow. I think they're feeling quite confident about it. Finally, one more team. The Papayans. It's McLaren. It's McLaren. Yeah, I think a few of you... I've seen... It's so annoying, man. Like, it's such a positive result. This is such a positive result for McLaren. And then straight away you got people... Norris washed. Like, this proves Lando's overrated. Shut up. This is an incredible result for Oscar Piastri and for McLaren. It's been a bit of an off weekend for Lando, but he still got third. Like, come on. He made it hard for himself and he still came back through. Bad start. Max had a bad start as well. And he's like the best driver in the world right now. Come on. And look, obviously you can see, post-race, Lando's gutted, obviously, for himself. Like, yes, he's happy for the team. Yes, he's happy for Oscar. But of course, he's like, bruv, this man has won a race. Sprint race, not for it. A race. He's still won a race before me. And he's like, he's got like, isn't he in the top 5 now of podiums without a win? He's had these moments where he's got close, and this one kind of was in his control. He could well have won this race if he'd got a better start and then outpaced Piastri in the race, which would have been exciting. Because I think if Norris had stayed in P2, and then obviously you got Russell coming through, and then Russell would have got overtaken by both of them, and then pressured Oscar and like fought him for a win, that would have been sick. Piastri's not got that dog in. He's got that kangaroo in him, Jake. Right? That's what he's got. He's got that roux in him. But yeah, Lando put his hands up. The thing is, Lando's he's very hard on himself, isn't he? He's very, Charles very hard on himself. And I do wonder if that's, I don't know, look, all these drivers are different. You've got some drivers who just always blame anything and everything apart from themselves, at least externally. But Lando's very real. He's very honest. Like, he's very, he puts his hands up when he knows he's missed an opportunity. And this is a missed opportunity. Of course it is. But, you said it, not me, Max. Lando's getting mentally destroyed. I mean, come on, Aaron. Mentally destroyed. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch. Like, obviously, yeah, Oscar's putting more pressure on Lando than Daniel did in the previous 2 years, right? And obviously, Daniel... This is why, like, Daniel got that win. Daniel got that win at Monza. And, like, Lando was second, And it's like Lando had been on top of Daniel, like, most of that year. And then when their car is good enough to win a race, it's Daniel who's there to take it. And Daniel deserved that win, by the way. He did. And Lando, that And now Piastri's got this win. Like, obviously that's going to grate on Lando, right? He's human, right? He's got a bit of an ego. Of course he has. He's an F1 driver. Come on. But Lando's going to be fine. Like, honestly, like a lot of the talk, he's going to Lando's rattled. Like, nah, come on, he'll be fine. It's going to come, right? Even Oscar said, like, just getting his first podium takes a bit of the pressure off the expectation. Lando knows that people talk about him not winning a race yet. He knows Lando no wins, right? Is a thing, right? And you could have fun with it, right? I'm sure he has a bit of fun with it as well. But when in these moments, he's like, bruv, come on. Please, just let me get the win. Will I be watching Bathurst? I didn't know what no, Bathurst. Bathurst was on, actually. Iconics, not going to lie. Lando win in Mexico, perhaps a good opportunity in Mexico for him to win, for sure. But yeah. But look, great day for McLaren. The Andrea Stella turnaround. This is, in terms of a car relative to the field, the turnaround, this is a serious turnaround. Like, unlike many a turnaround we've seen. Look at where they were at the start of the year, where they are now. Damn. It pays to copy Red Bull sometimes, and Mercedes should have learnt that a lot sooner. Stella TP of the year. I mean, so far, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Lowell, for the 5. It's sad for Oscar that he won a race and it basically doesn't count as a race win. Kind of like when he got his first podium that wasn't a podium at the sprint race. Silverstone, this is what feels weird to me about the sprint. Cheers. I feel that. Like, I think maybe in time, I would like to see. Would I? All right. How would you lot feel if there was a separate championship that was just for sprint points? So nothing actually changes. The sprint points still go towards the main drivers' championship, but there is also a separate championship, right, that is just for sprint points. Would that give it any more meaning, or would that just not make a difference? Because I guess you could kind of do that now. That would be kind of dumb, seems kind of pointless. Interesting. No, nah, you're not on board. I feel like to try and get these sprint races to mean a bit, because maybe it'll just take time. Like, these sprints are very new. So, like, maybe if there's still, say F1 in 20 years, we still got a similar type of sprint race going on. Maybe people will care more then. I don't know. Confusing for a casual. Yeah, I mean, this sport's confusing enough as it is, to be fair. Like a cup in football. Well, that's what I was kind of thinking, Aaron. Like, could you make something? Could you make it feel like a separate kind of cup competition, in a way? I don't know. Because you could argue maybe you should do that with a bit more with qualifying. Have like a qualifying championship, and have that get some kind of merit. I mean, that could maybe be interesting. I don't know. I ain't got the answers. I'm just a man on the internet talking and somehow having over 1,000 people listen to me. Thank you very much for listening. Like the stream, by the way. Like the stream. And if you've got this far, I want you to type the number 4, because this is Minton's birthday hat, but it's actually 5. But this is from last year, so when I put it on him, I put it the wrong way around so that you couldn't see it. It's actually number 4. Type number 4 in the comments. I know you're doing it live chat, but do it in the comments as well. Engagement. And if any of you type 5, I swear to God, I'm going to lose my mind. I see you, Kale. You typed 5. You're a monster. I can't believe you would do that. I'm disgusted. What can I say? Oscar Piastri, the boy's the real deal. He's a rookie. He's delivering. He's showing that it is not too much to expect a rookie to come in and, at least by midway through their first season, somewhat hit the ground running. Now, you can argue, oh, maybe Oscar Piastri's generational. Perhaps he is. I'm sure there's a lot of generational. Kimi Antonelli, is looking pretty generational. Wally Behrman is looking pretty generational from what we've seen. Listen, let this kid cook. Let this kid cook. An Alpine. Hang your heads. Laurent Rossi, you let this man go. You let this man go. Hang your head in shame. Laurent Rossi. Ah, wow. What's an L? That L in Alpine grows bigger by the day. And you know what? I tweeted this earlier, right? Shout out my little Twitter. I'll never call it X. Shout me out briefly. Here we go. And what we got here? A little promo for this. A little bit of content there. A little bit of Oscar Piastri here. Let's have a look at this one. 431 days later, after this famous tweet. 431 days since he tweeted this. 431. And now he's won a race. A sprint race. But still a race, technically. In the eyes of our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm not a religious man. I'll be honest. What did he do again? There you go. Right. I've somehow managed to go live for over an hour. Oh, and I feel like I've got cramp in my side because of my food. I've been standing this whole time because I like to get my steps in. I'm too chunky. Chunky but funky is my issue right now. I need to lose a bit of this. Lose a bit. If you watched me back in 2019, this was a slimmer face, right? And the hairline was stronger. Didn't have this monstrosity here, but we're all getting older. We're all one day closer to death. And on that note, we're going to wind this one up. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Charmander, Lowell, Rex, DeRodes, Sweet Mojo, Max, Alvaro, Keith, Farad, Mini Foss, Max, Moon One, D-Sub, Purple Moon, Isjet, the special one. Do you think we need to change the F2 winner not being able to compete again? No, I don't. Get him in Super Formula or IndyCar or DTM or something. I don't have a problem with that rule personally. Dimmy, Jerome, Alpine, Cal, Thomas, Pablo, Michael, Carlos, Jeremy, Adam, Tim, Yard, Animal, Mr. Aldo, Daniel, Mikey, Sam, Ryan, Caitlin, Doomed, Quite Smoke, Smooth Operator. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you for joining me again. Don't forget to like the stream. Check this out on audio only. Listen with your ears if you don't want to watch me and my big sweaty forehead. And I'll see you on Monday for the post-race stream. Hopefully it's a banger tomorrow. Fingers crossed. And last lap tomorrow. Last lap live. In person. On the Last Lap YouTube channel. Also linked in the description down below. So I'll see you on both of those streams. 3 streams in 3 days. Bye.